In today's video, I'm going to be sharing my own personal tips for washing your car in the summer months and more importantly in direct sunlight. And I'm going to be sharing the best methods to help you guys reduce the risk of getting any water spots. So here is my top 10 tips for helping you wash your car in the summer without looking like an idiot. And believe me, you might want to stick around till the very end because I'm going to be sharing the most important one of all. And believe me, this is a game changer. Tip number 1, pick your time. Ideally, you need to be washing your car first thing in the morning or last thing in the evening. But if you are doing it on a built-up area, make sure you don't pee off the neighbours first. If you do have to do your car in the middle of the day, make sure you've got a perfect amount of shade to keep the car in and keep it cool. If you do choose to clean your car in the middle of the day, in the middle of the summer when we've got crazy temperatures, then the least you can do is get yourself a little pop-up marquee. They're going to cost you about £50 to £70 on Amazon, or if you want to go up market a bit, you can get them for around £150 plus. And they are really important because if you do it in the direct sunlight without any of that or without any shade, it is going to slow you down by 50% at least. So you could be spending so many more hours working on your car doing something that you really might not feel up to. Tip number 2, be organised. Now this is one of the most important things as well. If you've got everything all laid out, so you've topped up your foam bottles, you've done your buckets, you've got all your cloths all organised, everything is all clean and prepped and ready, and it's next to the car where you can get it and where you can familiarise yourself with where everything is. It will make your life so much easier. You're washing your car and there's nothing worse. You've got the heat coming down, you start getting tired, your brain gets frazzled, you're trying to work out where you're going to go. Believe me, it is really important that you've got a system in place. Now I know it sounds crazy, but I keep all my buckets on one side, I keep my vacuum cleaners and everything on the other side, and it just helps my brain when I'm trying to run at like 100 miles per hour. I'm like, right, I'm washing, right, everything's over there, get my step, get my buckets, get this, get that. Everything is so much easier for you to do, so make sure you get properly organised and have all your equipment laid out first. And another top tip, if you go to a shop like the Range, you can get a decorator's table for £10. Now it's only going to be one of those cheap flimsy cardboard / wooden tables, but it will do the job and you can lay everything out on it. And I think it's going to be a brilliant idea for those of you who are starting out and you haven't got a lot of space, you don't want to put everything on the floor. You can get a fold-up table for £10. It's an absolute bargain. Tip number 3, clean your car in stages, and the first thing you really have to do is tackle the wheels first. And you don't start tackling all the wheels at once. I know on cooler days you can sort of do 2 at the same time and come back to it while the other one's dwelling. It's very different in the summer. I focus on one wheel and one arch at a time, and I do not move on to the next one until I've successfully completed that wheel first. Tip number 4, tackling the door shuts. Now once you've completed the wheels, it is equally as important to tackle the door shuts after that. And once you've got that out of the way, it's going to free everything up. This is what I mean about cleaning your car in stages. You can tick off the wheels once you've done them. You can then tick off the door shuts, and then it gives your brain a lot more chance to focus on the main area at hand. Tip number 5, cooling the car down. Now this is something that I learned from back in the day when I first started working on forecourts and I had an old hose and I was trying to cool the cars down because I used to do like 30 or 40 cars in one day when I very first started. One of the things I noticed when I had like a pressure washer and I was washing the car. Now I know you do get a lot of water that comes out of pressure washer, but the aim of those machines is to reduce the water coming out and replace it with pressure. So what's happening is while you're covering the whole car, it's actually more like a light mist. Whereas if you've got a garden hose, now I'm not saying that it's not going to waste water because it is going to waste a lot of water, but I'm saying the volume and the density of holding a hose over the car with the water is actually going to cool it down a lot faster. You will ultimately get a larger coverage of water instead of it being like a thin mist, which is something that a pressure washer would do. And that's why people say, well look, I'm trying to rinse the car and it's burning dry. That's because there's not enough water on it, because the pressure washer has to make sure that it doesn't use as much water to be economical. So just give it a go anyway. Tip number 6, it's really important to work fast, work smart and work hard. Now a lot of people will always argue the fact that if you work very quickly, you're not going to be able to do a good job. But I want to counter argue that. I believe that you can certainly work quickly and still do a good job. Think about it this way. If you're working in the direct sunlight and you're going slow, I think you're going to be 10 times more likely to do more harm from working slow than if you work quick. So by breaking the clean down into those sections such as wheels, arches and then the bodywork, you'll still be able to work quickly and safely. Tip number 7, picking the right shampoo. Now you may get tempted to go for one of those cheap £5 bottles. You can see them in every sort of supermarket. The thing is, a lot of them aren't pH neutral, a lot of them are alkaline based, or they can be very thick and very foamy, and that's not always a good thing for the summer. Ideally, you like to be using a pH neutral shampoo, something that is very safe and it's going to reduce the risk of getting any streaks on your car, especially when that sun is out. And that's why I tend to use Yum Wash. I've been testing this for about 14 months. I've never had a bad wash, and it's always been a game changer for me when I've been working out there in those terribly hot months and I've just had no choice. I've never had any damaging streaks or anything like that where I thought, oh, that doesn't look right. It's a really good, very safe shampoo, so do go check that one out. I'll also put a link to that product in the description below. Tip number 8, using a quick detailer or drying aid will help you speed up the drying process. As soon as you've rinsed that car, simply spray the panels and then towel dry it as quick as possible. Tip number 9, make sure you have plenty of drying towels to hand. Don't just rely on one or two. Make sure you've got some for the wheels, some for the door shuts, and some for the bodywork, and always start on the sunny side first and leave all the shady parts and the door shuts and the wheels till last, because they're going to get less impact from the sun's intensity and they're going to be the last parts that are going to need to be dried. Tip number 10, and this is my single biggest tip of all, and it's all about cleaning the glass, because that is one area where everybody tends to get it wrong in the direct sunlight, and I see it so many times. They're cleaning the glass. Oh, Dave, I'm getting streaky windows. How do I fix it? There is a simple answer. Do not use any chemicals, no glass cleaners, nothing whatsoever. There is one thing that you can use that definitely works, and I will put my life on this. I can guarantee this work. Now, in other videos I've done about glass cleaning, I've done some big ones, by the way. Do go check them out, and I'll put links in the description below. I talk about cleaning your glass using a bucket, a synthetic flunky, and a few microfiber towels. Now, that's all you need, but when I normally do it, I always talk about the fact that you've got to have warm water with a flunky to get the car looking great, the glass that is. For this, in these horrible conditions when it really does go over 25 degrees and it is scorching and burning, you need to make sure you have a bucket of ice cold water. Yep, that's what I said, ice cold water. Now you can either use microfiber towels or you can use synthetic flunkies. Now make sure that those flunkies, or one of those towels at least, is completely submerged and it's holding plenty of water. So you're going to have one towel which is going to be soaking wet. You're then going to have your other towel which is bone dry. Now this is really important. You do one window at a time, and we're talking instant here. We're not going to say you wipe it and then leave it for a few seconds. No, you don't have a few seconds. You will have literally 2 seconds tops to wipe the glass before it burns dry. And this is where it gets really important. So you've got your soaking wet towel or flunky. That's been dipped in that bucket and that's holding a lot of water, and we're talking a lot of water here. Go over the glass, and within 1 second, 1 to 2 seconds, switch to your drying one. So have one in one hand, ideally have your wet one in your left hand if you're right-handed, and then keep your dry one in your right hand, because that's the one that you've got to be super quick on. What that's going to do is that's going to cool the glass down, it's going to keep it at a good temperature, and you can buff it dry straight away while it's cool. If you try doing it when it's hot, that's when you can get fluff and things like that will come off the microfiber towels. It will be an utter nightmare. So this is the best solution. Simply use cold water, use a flunky or a microfiber towel, and finish it up with a dry towel within 2 seconds. And I promise you, if you can do that, you will get perfect glass in the direct sunlight. And believe me, when you're trying to do this for a living, this will be the biggest game changer for you. You don't always need glass cleaning chemicals. You do on some jobs, but not every job is the same. And I think most of these jobs that you do, you can get away with just using a bucket of water as well. So please do go give it a go. And like I said, do go check out that video that I will put a link in the description below. Anyway, I hope that has cleared up loads of different things for you, and I hope you can go out there and clean your car with peace of mind. Look, you're not going to get it perfect. If you're doing it in those horrible conditions, you're going to see all sorts of marks. It's not going to be easy for you, and sometimes it can be a little soul destroying. But I really want you to take these things on board, because every little trick will help you get a better clean. As for my next video, I've got something brilliant coming your way very soon. I'll see you later. Bye bye.